Today I'm going to show you a 2009 action thriller movie titled The Keeper. Be ready for spoilers ahead. The movie begins with two police officers named Roland and Johnny. They're on the lookout for a troublesome gang involved in illegal activities. When they try to apprehend the gang, things take a violent turn as the criminals resist arrest, leading to a fierce gunfight. Amidst the chaos, Johnny notices a substantial sum of money that belongs to the gang, and he suggests they take it for themselves, keeping it a secret. Roland, however, is a principled cop and refuses to do anything dishonest, staying loyal to his duty of serving the country. Johnny then claims he was just kidding. As Roland is about to report to their boss, Johnny unexpectedly shoots him. Johnny seizes the money and makes it appear as if the gang had killed Roland. He then calls for police backup, framing the gang for Roland's death. When more officers arrive, Johnny pretends to be devastated, expressing regret that he couldn't protect Roland, whom he considers his best partner. Unbeknownst to Johnny, Roland survives and is hospitalized in critical condition. Johnny plans to tie up the loose ends and makes his way to the hospital. However, when he peeks in Roland's room, a nurse is present, forcing Johnny to hide. Roland's superior officer, named Regina, visits the weakened Roland on his sick bed. Upon realizing Johnny's intentions, in a clever move, Roland secretly takes Regina's gun from her purse. After Regina leaves, Johnny walks in and holds a pillow over Roland's face. Roland whips out the gun and shoots Johnny twice in the chest, killing him. Regina revisits Roland in the hospital. She explains that headquarters intends to retire Roland due to his uncertain recovery and aging. Roland reluctantly accepts this decision and officially retires from the police force. In the following months, Roland recuperates but grapples with a sense of boredom due to his inability to work as he once did. Tragically, he learns that his wife and children had died in a car accident. Unexpectedly, a new person enters Roland's life, bringing a new twist to the story. A guy named Connor and his daughter Nikita were getting ready to watch a boxing match. To the father's surprise, Nikita's boyfriend Mason turned out to be one of the boxers. He emerged victorious, and later that evening, Mason threw a celebration party. Nikita had a great time at the party, and when it concluded, they departed with several bodyguards closely monitoring Nikita. Things took a frightening turn when they reached the parking lot. Suddenly, a group of kidnappers attacked the bodyguards, attempting to snatch Nikita. Amid the chaos, Mason did something unexpected. He abandoned Nikita and fled from the building. While the fight between the bodyguards and kidnappers raged on, the kidnappers tried to seize Nikita. Fortunately, she fought back and eventually broke free from their grasp, escaping the danger. The next day, Nikita's dad, Connor, reached out to his best friend Roland, who hadn't been working for a while. Connor invited Roland to visit him in New Mexico since they hadn't seen each other in a long time. Roland agreed, and Connor had a private driver pick him up from the airport and take him straight to his house. During the ride, the driver noticed some bullies bothering his younger sibling. Unable to tolerate it, he confronted the bullies, who wasted no time in attacking him. Roland, not one to stand by, jumped in to assist. Shortly after, Roland arrived at Connor's place. He was absolutely thrilled to see his friend and gave him a warm welcome. After catching up on recent events, Roland finally asked the big question of why Connor had brought him all the way out to New Mexico. Connor explained that not too long ago, his daughter Nikita had narrowly escaped a kidnapping attempt. He suspected that the culprits were hired by his business rival, a wealthy oil tycoon engaging in some shady dealings. Recognizing the need for top-notch bodyguards, Connor decided to offer Roland the job, knowing his exceptional skills. At that moment, Roland was without a job, so he eagerly accepted the opportunity. Once they reached a mutual understanding, Connor promptly introduced Roland to Nikita. To Roland's surprise, Nikita still remembered him from their past interactions when he used to visit with his daughter. Mason was also present since he was at Connor's place. As it turned out, Nikita had forgiven Mason for his hasty departure when the kidnappers had attacked. The next day, Roland assumed his role as Nikita's bodyguard. To ensure her safety, he had Nikita wear a necklace equipped with a tracking device. But Roland didn't stop there. He gathered all the necessary gear including weapons, and had security cameras installed throughout Connor's house. One night, while Roland was at a nightclub with Nikita, Mason, and their friends, they encountered Crost, the leader of a Mafia crew. Roland noticed Mason receiving a message from Crost and stepping into another room. It turned out that Mason worked closely with Crost as his right-hand man. Surprisingly, Mason's intentions toward Nikita weren't genuine. He was merely using her for his own advantage. Soon after, one of Nikita's friends got into a confrontation with another guy and things escalated quickly. Roland intervened, urging the guy to back off, but he responded with hostility, hurling insults. Roland wasn't about to let that slide, leading to the heated confrontation, which ended up with Roland teaching the guy and his friends a valuable lesson. Roland swiftly grabbed Nikita and escorted her away, but Mason arrived clearly upset. As it turned out, the guys who got into the scuffle were Mason's buddies. Luckily, Nikita had Roland's back and defended him. The very next day, Roland met up with Simon, a detective he used to be close to in the past. Roland's curiosity led him to inquire about Crost, the big-shot boss who had Mason under his wing. Simon spilled the beans, revealing that Crost was a significant figure in the world of organized crime, with suspicions ranging from illegal fight smuggling to kidnappings. The FBI had been monitoring him for a while but lacked concrete evidence. Simon also mentioned that the Crost family had a long-standing feud with Connor dating back to a land dispute. Simon had a hunch that Crost might have some sinister plans involving Nikita, so he asked Roland to join forces and assist. Speaking of Nikita, she spent time with her father and expressed her admiration for Roland's style, finding him both impressive and highly dependable. She even admitted feeling safer with him than with Mason despite Mason's boxing skills. In the afternoon, Nikita visited Roland's place and reminisced about Roland's child, who had been her childhood buddy. She felt a deep sadness over the unexpected loss of Roland's child and wife, and despite missing his family every day, he believed in moving forward without regrets. They had a heartfelt conversation, during which Nikita shared how secure she felt when she was in Roland's company. Later in the evening, Nikita returned to the nightclub, this time without Mason or his pals. But Roland was there observing from a distance. When Nikita finished her drinks, she became rather tipsy and opened up about feeling liberated when she wasn't with Mason. In her somewhat tipsy state, Nikita blurted out that she felt her heart was leaning towards Roland, who responded with a secret smile and felt the same way. Unbeknownst to them, Mason watched from his car, visibly annoyed. Nikita, growing closer to her own bodyguard, didn't sit well with him. The following day, Roland discreetly tailed Mason's car. During that time, Mason met up with Crost and his top henchman. It turned out that Crost had given Mason a mission, to take Nikita somewhere, as he had sinister plans to kidnap her. Crost insisted that Nikita had to go alone, and Roland must remain oblivious to the plan. Roland observed their meeting from a distance but couldn't hear their conversation. Afterward, Mason headed straight to Nikita's house and hurried her, explaining that Roland wasn't around. Nikita questioned why Mason had suddenly asked her out when she was supposed to be with Roland. Mason claimed he wanted some alone time with her, free from interruptions. Unbeknownst to them, Roland was still tailing them, keeping a close eye on Mason's car. When Manson's car was halted by a group of Crost's men to kidnap Nikita, Roland caught wind of the plan and sprang into action, engaging in a shootout with Crost's men. Unfortunately, two of them managed to seize Nikita and swiftly departed, inadvertently ripping off her GPS necklace and discarding it. In the midst of chaos, the police arrived on the scene and apprehended Roland. At the police station, Simon, Roland's trusted buddy and a detective, was the one handling the situation. During the questioning, Roland disclosed the urgent need to escape because Nikita had been kidnapped by Crost's henchmen. After a brief exchange, Simon cut Roland some slack and allowed him to go. Meanwhile, Connor received a call from Crost, who revealed that he had Nikita. Crost demanded a hefty ransom of $5 million in cash and Connor's land certificate, which held valuable resources like oil and uranium. Crost argued that the land once owned by Connor's father should have been his, but Connor had taken it, amassing great wealth that would endure for generations. Crost issued a menacing threat, insisting that Connor comply by the following night and refrain from involving the police. Shortly afterward, Simon visited Connor, expressing his desire to help find Nikita. However, Connor was rattled by Crost's threats and remained tight-lipped. Simon also inquired about Roland's whereabouts, but Connor had no information. Roland also meets the driver, who had been with his sister in the church. He asked the driver if he had ever taken Nikita to Mason's place. The driver confirmed this and offered to take Roland there with the hired guns. Subsequently, Roland and the driver arrived at Mason's place. Roland dealt with Mason's associates before pressing Mason to disclose Nikita's location, promising not to harm him. Mason agreed, and Roland finally learned where Nikita was. Back at home, Roland met up with Connor, informing him that he knew Nikita's whereabouts. However, Connor urged Roland to remain discreet and avoid rushing in. Connor was deeply concerned for Nikita's safety and planned to meet Crost's demands so long as Nikita emerged unharmed. He feared involving anyone else might jeopardize her life. As time ticked away the next night, Connor was determined to provide Crost with everything he demanded with no strings attached. Meanwhile, Nikita remained captive in Crost's grasp, feeling the weight of her situation intensely. Mason's involvement in the unfolding events became apparent. Crost and his gang rushed to bring Nikita to the designated meeting spot, suspecting that Connor was waiting. Connor met Crost and his crew there, handing over the suitcase with the requested items. Crost instructed Mason to inspect the contents before the exchange can happen. Roland also arrived on the scene, wasting no time in neutralizing the snipers Crost had stationed for protection. Once the money, diamonds, and land certificates were approved, Crost ordered his crew, including the snipers, to eliminate Connor but already taken out. At this critical juncture, Connor managed to corner Crost just when it seemed Connor was about to deal the final blow. Simon and the police arrived, putting a halt to the escalating situation. Meanwhile, Crost's top henchman was transporting Nikita to his main hideout, and Roland set out to rescue her. It boiled down to a one-on-one showdown between Roland and Crost's right-hand man, and it was evident that Roland had the upper hand. In summary, Roland successfully rescued Nikita from the dire situation. Simultaneously, Simon, who had been surveilling Crossed for some time, apprehended him. Roland had tipped off Simon, prompting his timely arrival on the scene. Ultimately, Connor shared an emotional reunion with his daughter as he expressed gratitude to Roland. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this.